You've watched the 2022 third quarter update, and now we are into 2023, the first quarter. So what has happened in 2022? We had the Ukraine war, unprecedented inflation, job cuts, but that left the commercial real estate market undeterred. And of course, prices and rents have actually moved up on a very high note, closing off at end 2022. And today, I'll be sharing with you Quarter 1 2023 commercial property updates and what to expect, what has happened, and forming your decisions going forward. Hi, I'm Edith. I'm from PropertyBank, and let's begin with 2023. Of course, there's this fear of recession, bank policy changes on real estate, and certainly impacting many institutional buyers. And there is a mismatch between the buyers and the sellers. Then comes 2023 budget. For the first time, we see that our government announces, increase in stamp duty for the buyers for the first time for non-residential properties. We're going to head up to talk about this market, but before that, you guys are as shocked as I am on the banking crisis, which happened one after another, and for all that we are not expecting on Credit Suisse. So that's going to also hit up banking sector, because they are really the big users of space in our commercial real estate. So tech has been affected. Are we going to see this round that the banks are pulling out space? Not yet. Stay tight and let's jump into what's the notable commercial property transactions. So towards the last quarter and to the new quarter, we see a slew of transactions for the strata property market. So they are amongst Springleaf Tower, total of 53.9 million that's been transacted, and that's on two of the floors, 28 and 29th floor. If you look at Springleaf Tower, I feel this building has a little bit of a grandeur, and of course some of the units are very good, overlooking the sea, and it has a good balance lease of 73 years. And South Point, I am intimately involved in this particular deal. So for the whole of South Point, not many transactions until last year. There's total of 43 million. And one of the record-breaking deals is $3,000 per square foot. It's really quite beautiful, at the edge of the CBD, and of course the Greater Southern Waterfront. There's of course the new MRT. So despite the age, it's really quite interesting to see how the number of strata sales that actually happened in this building. 15 Scots, another freehold building. A floor has been sold to Cortina Watch, 13,735 square feet to be exact. Total price 49 million. To sum up these three, they are basically mostly end users. So the question to ask is that buying versus renting. When you buy, you actually have an asset that you pay towards your installment. Whereas you rent, you actually find it hard to control the rental upside. So to sum up, all these people, if they are renting spaces, it's a high time that they do some rationalization on the asset, whether they continue to take the rental route or they want to actually become owner of their own property where they occupy. Now, we look at shop houses. Everyone is saying that shop houses has already picked, but if you look into the details, especially let's say for example 311, 313, 315, 317 and 319 and 321, total of 6 adjoining freehold 2-story shop houses in Geylang was sold at 42.6 million. This total land plot is 9792 square feet and the built-up area is 17,014 square feet. It's actually very prominent frontage. And to buy a cluster of shop houses are really rare opportunities. So that basically is a real estate landlord looking to increase their land bank. And of course, we will also see that the amount of rejuvenation that will be done in Geylang location. In fact, Geylang is actually kind of quite good for mixed use. For example, like, you have shops on the ground level, and of course you have co-living. Again, all these are subject to the authorities' approval. On the lower ticket item, you have this 27.2 million. Out of these notable deals, this is considered a smaller ticket size, that's 35 and 37 An Siang Road. It's also a very unique purchase for a pair of shophouses. Then you look at the recovery of retail. Okay, this of course has been in the news, which bought Jurong Point and Thomson Plaza as a portfolio purchase. The institutional buyers, of course, it's different. The way that they are looking to purchase, they purchase a portfolio for ease of management. And of course, for this Hong Kong company, it's entry into Singapore's real estate market for also diversification. Yeah, so we have covered the notable sale transactions. How about notable lease transactions? So most of you would have heard that the job cuts will affect the tech sector. And this tech sector, basically, when their leases, they took a lot of leases, this is going to really impact down the road that they will be having shadow spaces. But what has been recorded, for example, would be these transactions that they have negotiated way ahead of time. So that includes Amazon. If you watch my previous quarter's YouTube, you will hear their name. So that's 370,000 over at IOI Central Boulevard Towers. And ByteDance, okay, which all of you will call it a TikTok company, which has already inked the Capital Tower for additional 80,000 square feet of space. Facebook and Meta, again, they negotiated this list way before the job cuts. That's IOI Central Boulevard Towers. They have already leased substantial space. So it'll be interesting to watch all these notable lease, whether there'll be more space coming up in the market, or are these companies able to hold up. And basically they already in this, and already they have calculated and budgeted for the rental. One piece of very recent news is outside of CBD building, which is called Labrador Tower. So Prudential has already inked quite substantial space to be one of the anchor tenants at Labrador Tower. So you guys can see that all these notable lease transactions are really the major tenants. And with them moving from one location to another, you can expect, for the previous space that they are moving from, will have fully fitted space. And the landlords themselves, if they are at a very high vacancy, it is also a time that they readjust the rental. One of the landlords, for example, that I can quote, like Republic Plaza, Bank of Singapore has moved out. So they, in fact, look at subdivision of the units. And that means to say that overall for the landlord-wise, the rents will also go up in tandem. Yeah. So then all this that we have gone through, which is the major sale transaction, major lease transactions, these are like what has been transacted. How about opportunities? How about spaces to look out for? So now I'm going to touch on the pipeline. So for rental wise, we look at spaces such as Gokor Midtown, 120 Beach Road. Of course, the major tenants have already inked, and this building has already obtained TOP. So there are still space, retail, and some also the offices that's out there for rental. And with the building obtaining TOP, you can touch and feel, and you know where the anchor tenants are. So for the mid-size or smaller tenants, in fact, this is the most apt time to look at such properties. Another building which goes into second half of the year, slated expected TOP in July 2023, that's IOI Central Boulevard Towers. So earlier on, you already hear the big names that's going to be there. Now is really an apt time for you to look at what are the units available in this building to kickstart the negotiation. And right now, where I'm doing the filming and also at my office, Singapore Land Tower, every day, every month, I'm seeing changes because this building is going through upgrading. In fact, the lobbies have all been refurbished, floor by floor. I see the change and I feel great at this building. So if you want to have a viewing at Singapore Land Tower, I am more happy to show you than ever because that's really at my office. So one other building that's coming up, which is One Holland Village, which is outside the CBD, Central Business District. And this building is really unique. I like how it is positioning. So lifestyle brands, luxury brands, and even commercial schools. You know, if you can't, locate yourself into a mall, which is going to cost you much more, I think One Holland Village, which has the last floor and is over 9,000 square feet, it's really very rare. And I think since it's in the pipeline and slated for completion third quarter 2023, this is really a limited opportunity. So that's all we talk about rental side of things, which is for the offices. Coming to sale itself, you can either look at resale, like you hear about the sale transactions that we mentioned earlier. You will also be having the opportunity to look at new property for sale. TIL building has been slated for redevelopment. This will be a brand new building called Solitaire at Cecil. So each floor is about 13,000 square feet and the floor-to-floor ceiling height is 4.9 meters. Our team has been invited to look at the model and also started presenting to our buyers who are looking at single floor for purchase. Two of the strata floors was already announced that they transacted at 3,865 per square foot and 4,196 per square foot. The expected completion is April 2028. So for those of you who are having a long lease that will run, the next couple of years, in fact, this is never a better time to look at a purchase of a single floor, prime CBD, and definitely grade A standard kind of office building in Singapore. Yeah. So you probably have heard me mentioning so much about the office sector. For retail, if you go to the malls, I think you will feel, wow, so many people, queues here and queues there. So I think retail is right now experiencing an upsurge in demand. So mind you, those tech sector people with the job cards and all that, sometimes they may think about setting up a retail, maybe even a cafe. So if you like something that is chill a little bit, Lavender, Serangoon, so that's one of the spaces. Click the earlier YouTube that we have just recently uploaded. So what should you be planning for, right? So looking at now and the 12 months ahead, of course, we hope that the banking crisis would not be really putting a domino effect. However, it seems that that also allows banks to also look at Singapore. So Singapore seems to survive some of the worst crises with companies moving, from other countries into Singapore. I think our control measures and all that seems to be quite good for the financial sector, but we shall see. Anyway, this coming 12 months, we are seeing that the central region office sector already has hit a high in 2022. There will definitely be rental and asset repricing ahead. Of course, for you guys as tenants in some of these buildings, you expect to have a hard bargain to negotiate against your tenants if you are going to renew in this year. So we have been appointed by some of the tenants of some of these prime office buildings to look at a way to negotiate for more palatable renewal rents. So are you one of them? Yeah, talk to us. So looking at all this, I would say that you need to actually strategize. So for retail, the only way for the rents is up, up, up. And for office, well, there's still an opportunity of time to discuss this because of some of the shadow space in the market. So what I would also say for the tenants out there, it's actually about you looking into your needs. Make your property blueprint with us, because are you actually looking at renewal or even looking at purchase? So it's also strategies that we will embark on with a conversation with you. You know, the 3R that we mentioned in our earlier series, which is right sizing, finding a renovated office, and also to basically looking at a replacement tenant if the office size is not suited for you. So with that, I actually wrap up my quarterly updates. I would say that it gives me a lot of joy to share with you all this information, that once you hear about what has happened in the quarter, what to look out for. If you're looking for your next office, industrial space, or retail space, come to us. We would love to help you. And of course, if you are an investor and you do not know what to buy that gives you good enough yield, then let's have a conversation. So for those of you who have been following us for quite a while, you know that we have this property blueprint for businesses as a book that you can place order. We have this 3R framework, which is right sizing and finding a replacement tenant if your lease is not up yet. And of course, find a renovated space. Well, this sounds a bit complex, but once you start having a conversation with us, we will guide you step by step. Well, if you like what you're watching, do give us a thumbs up, and definitely you need to subscribe to our YouTube. And we love connecting with you. I'm Edith, your property banker. We hold a bank of properties and bank on us for properties.